नमस्कार. आयच्या भासाभाशेत तुमकां येवकार. विशय खबर आसा सगळ्यांक, तो म्हळ्यार जे पणजे जाले बाउन्सरांनी दोतोर ऑस्कराचेर हात घालून तातूंतल्यान जे सगळो बोवाळ जालो, त्या बोवाळांतल्यान आमी आज ज्या विशयाचेर भासाभास करतात तो म्हळ्यार आर गोवन्स बींग बुलीड इन दियर ओन स्टेट. आमच्याच राज्या भितर गोंयकाराक येवन कोण तरी शापोत सांगपाक शकता, शाणेपण सांगपाक शकता आनी तें खंय तरी कल्चर हळू आमच्या वेगवेगळ्या भागां भितर रुचपा लागला काय कितें, ताजेर आमी भासाभास करतले. 3 मानेस्त आसा म्हजे बरोबर. पयलीं आसात डॉक्टर ऑस्कर रिबेलो, ते ह्या प्रकरणा भितर विक्टिमूय आसात आनी तुगे सोशल एक्टिविस्टूय आसात. दुसरे आसात म्हजे बरोबर कलंगूटचे आमदार आनी तांकां ह्या एकूण सेक्युरिटीच्या सगळ्या उद्देगाचो अनुभव आहा, ते मायकल लोबो. आनी तिसरे आसात म्हजे बरोबर द गोवनाचे एडिटर इन चीफ सुजय गुप्ता. स्वागत तुमचें. डेफिनेटली आय विल स्टार्ट विथ यू. वाय यू बिकेम सो एंग्री? द मेन थिंग that came from you, okay, this is not about me, but it's about all the Goans.
I don't know whether I was wrong in saying that it was all about the Goans as such. And second thing is, you know, I was angry that day, but today I really feel sorry for those bouncers, because with their limited intelligence, they must be thinking, we did a very good job. We tried to get this fellow out from the sanitized zone, and we have to spend time in bars for that. So they did a good job, but they ended up in bars. So for them, it's a little bit of a dilemma. I do not think the question, Pramod Ashani, ki are Goans being bullied into a small, in our state? हो प्रश्न जो आसा पळय तो, हो एक बारीक मनशाचो प्रश्न. हांव कितें सांगपाक सोदतां की हांव बारीक मनीस. आतां हांव टीव्हीचेर आयलो म्हणून, पेपराचे हेडलायन्साचेर आयलो म्हणून मोठो मनीस जायना. हांव बारीक मनीस. हांव म्हाज्या कामाक वता, हांव म्हाज्या धंद्याक वता, म्हाजें पोट भरपा जाय, म्हाज्या भुरग्याचें पोट भरपा जाय. आतां हांव वता पळय तेन्ना म्हाका रस्तो क्रॉस करपा मेळना 3 दीस म्हाज्या जाग्याक पावपाक, म्हणजे म्हाज्या क्लिनिकेन पावपाक. म्हळ्यार हें आडोवपाचें कल्चर, ही जी कल्चर आसा, जे लोकांक जे पयसो आसा, प्रिविलेज आसा, पावर आसा, they go, they just hire out the entire road. The rest of you can go fly a kite. This happens constantly in, let's say, Michael's constituency. Sunburn festival finished. If you are locked out in your house for 3 days, if you are dying, if you are getting a heart attack, no ambulance can reach you, bad luck. If the mining trucks have to run over some small kids in the search of profits, we'll send some flowers, some condolence messages. That's the end of the story. So, हो प्रश्न जो आसा पळय तो एक बारीक मनशाचो प्रश्न. म्हणल्यार आमकां कितें अधिकार आसा ह्या राज्यान की ना, गोंयकार नॉन गोंयकार न्ही तो. बारीक मनीस versus the people who are in power. Maybe I was arrogant, maybe I was of course angry. At that point of time, nobody thinks of being a Gandhi or a Mother Teresa. That's not in me, I'm just not me. But the point is this, whether the bouncer culture is going to be, this private militia thing is going to be allowed to flourish and continue in Goa and then get bigger and bigger as the profits have to get bigger and bigger, and whether the small man has got certain fundamental rights as a citizen.
Michael Bob, you have seen both the sides of the fence. तुका होई बिझनेस खबर आसा आनी तुका being in a public life, being a politician, तुका ती बाजू खबर आसा. आनी अशी इन्सिडेंट्स तर तुजी कॉन्स्टिट्युएन्सी भितर चालूच आसता. हाव आर यू लुकिंग एट इट? हें बरोबर चलता तें काय तुका दिसता की इतली मातशी सेन्सिटीव शूटिंग आसली किंवा सेन्सिटीव जर क्लब आनी पबा सारके बिझनेस असले जाल्यार लोकांक कंट्रोल करपा खातीर असले एक 4 सामके लांब रुंद मनीस दवरचे पडटात?
पयलेसून सेक्युरिटी बिझनेस जे करता आनी पब्स, रेस्टॉरंट्स, डिस्कोज और नायट क्लब जावं or posh restaurants, they used to hire security guards where they used to have a name plate, uniform, they used to be registered with the police. पण आता कल्चरूच चेंज जाल्लो आहा. सगळ्यांनी स्लोली एडॉप्ट केल्ले आहा हे बाउन्सर्स, सो कॉल बाउन्सर्स. दीस बाउन्सर्स आर जस्ट इन प्लेन क्लोथ्स. तेका कॅप ना, सिक्युरिटी एजन्सीचे नाव ना, नेम ना, कांयच ना. सो हू आर दीस बाउन्सर्स? आमकां आमचे कॉन्स्टिट्युएन्सीन, कलंगूट कॉन्स्टिट्युएन्सीन जावं बाकीचे स्वतेर खूब डिफिकल्टी जातात until unless you know the bouncer or bouncer knows you. Otherwise you are being stopped. Supposing there is a lady, she is being manhandled, she doesn't want to complain because finally whom to complain and what will be the outcome. हे जे आहा हे गव्हर्मेंटान रायट करपाची गरज आहा. हे काम पुलीस डिपार्टमेंटाचें. आतां बाउन्सर्स कोणाचे? सिक्युरिटी एजन्सीचेच आहा. ते सिक्युरिटी प्रोवायड करता, बाउन्सरूय प्रोवायड करता. वेन दे आर प्रोवायडिंग बाउन्सर्स देर इज नो युनिफॉर्म. वेदर दीस बाउन्सर्स हॅव गॉट क्रिमिनल बॅकग्राउंड, आदी हे केसीन इनवॉल्ड आहा, जावं तो एक्सटॉर्शन जावं, अटेम्प्ट टू मर्डर जावं, or anything related to prostitution or any other thing when you are on the beach belt. So yes, सगळे investigation जावपाक जाय तेका एक police identity card दिवपाक जाय की बाबा this person is verified. Then you can hire bouncers. Bouncers are there all over across the country and the world, but you need to hire them properly. And secondly, public places. Dotoran je point out kela public places. No way. You cannot just stop somebody by putting bouncers.
So yeah, what is this whole thing? Because common man might be wondering why these people are even called bouncers. And what is this whole culture and why this is happening? How are you looking at it?
See, Pramod, I'd like to take the debate a little beyond this. While this is indeed an important issue to talk about, but I think Goa is a place, especially people who've been living in Goa for years and years, I mean much before I came to Goa 10 years ago, is that Goa as a place and Panjim as a city and other places have undergone certain fundamental and societal changes which are a little difficult to accept and bear for old timers. There used to be those beautiful days when you went for a walk in Panjim for 5 or 10 minutes. You ended up 3 hours because you met people. You dropped into Frank Opticians for a chat. You went to buy medicines at Hindu Pharmacy, and the guy would know you. You walked into George Bar. You went into Tato's, and there was absolute bonhomie and free movement, and the city was our own, in the sense that there were no restrictions of any nature. People knew you. Everybody addressed you by first name. The issue that it was almost like sitting in your balcony and then that togetherness. See, the basic DNA of Panjim has not changed. That feeling is still there amongst a lot of people. When they are confronted with these harsh new modern realities, then it actually strikes at the very core of our existence. In the sense that especially people like Dr. Oscar will know, I mean, who's lived through those times. He knows a lot more people who've lived in those eras. So if you ask them, they're just completely at sea and confused as to how the character of the whole city seems to be at odds with its original DNA. And I think that hurts, and it's not just a Panjim issue. See, if you look at any quintessential Goan village also, the fact is that in the olden days you had these buses called Carreras. That driver used to know everybody. The village cobbler was known to everybody. The fish seller was known to everybody. So we've lived in a society of togetherness where
what are you suggesting? What should that go on to adapt to it? No. Or protest against it?
I'm only trying to document
the fact
what is going on.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm telling you why all this hurts much more in a place like Goa than it would in a place like, say, Delhi or a Bombay.
I think we required a Bengali Goan to hit the nail on the head, because frankly speaking, at the end of the day, that I think is the sentiment. It is this, I don't know whether it is logical, illogical, it can be explained, it cannot be explained, and whether we should adapt or we should not. That is, of course, a question that has to be answered, because these are modern times we're living in, these are modern economic times we're living in, these are challenges that we have to face. But I think it's becoming difficult for us to really accept that the Goa we knew, the Goa we loved, the Goa we cherished, is just simply slipping out of our hands, and we are helpless to do anything about it. I think that in many ways is one of the...
Tell me
one side, what Dotor is saying is 100% right. But if people like Dotor say it today, tomorrow, day after, and it is forgotten. People like Dotor should come in our line and then say it.
Our line is what?
Our line is political line, because we are the people who are actually trying to stop all these things which are happening.
So what are you saying? That a person like Dotor should be in politics.
Of course.
And they should be there in the assembly.
Yes.
So that such kind of things should not happen.
We have to come out with rules and regulations which rules and regulations are not there. Rules and regulation amche azuni itun. If you look at our belt, densely populated belt of Kalangut, having a police station which can house 40 people, 40 policemen. If any untoward incident comes, you have to bring people, battalion from Panjim, and that also right on top Altino.
Michael, tell me.
I'm just telling you that this is the situation we are living in. This is the situation we are living. How we are going to change this? So there has to be proper.
Are you saying, Sujay told you very nicely what is the fact. Now that's the ground reality. Are we saying that we should not adapt to it? Are you saying that whatever the kind of business environment and the kind of economy that has come up in your own constituency, you should oppose it.
No, we
should
are
not get adapted to it.
There has to be sustainable development. We have to know what is coming in. Like I oppose Playboy. Why did I oppose Playboy? Because that would change our culture. So how are we going to keep in control all these things? So you require better people to be on the chair. Who is going to oppose them?
See, Pramod, I think
who is going to oppose?
See, taking a cue from
today, Dotor opposed yesterday. That is why it has become a big noise. It has become a big story.
Otherwise this is a routine thing in your constituency.
Yes, it is. Pushing is happening every
is what
second
is
day.
sad. And
every
that is what is
second
sad.
day, somebody is being pushed.
See,
either by a bouncer or by a security person.
It made the headlines, and rightly so, because somebody as respected and well known as Dr. Oscar was there.
Yeah.
It was an unfortunate incident, but suppose he was not there and that woman with a child was pushed. Nobody would have kind of made noise about it, because it happens all the time. So ultimately, that this brings us to a basic question, in the sense that in the Goa of today, does the rule of law apply?
Exactly.
And is the rule of law followed? Exactly. And is the rule of law also for the weak?
No, but the point that you raised, that whether there's a question mark in front of that go on.
Correct.
Whether
Absolutely.
I should get adapted to it, I should oppose it, I should shout, what should I do?
No, I think that is all a fallout, Pramod.
Correct.
I think this is what Sujoy is trying to say is very true. And to respond to Michael's question, whether XYZ gets into politics or does not get into politics is absolute rubbish. To look at just one man and think that one man is going to give you solutions is absolute hogwash.
It's not one man.
One moment, Michael. What I'm trying to say is that the point is that and Goa can set the trend for this, is that we need systems in place. You need rules and regulations in place, and you need institutions to monitor those systems and to see that those rules and regulations
this is what I just said
for everyone.
He says people like Oscar should be in
required.
power, so that this thing falls in place.
This is what I am fighting for from day one.
But why can't Michael
why can't Michael I am doing
that?
I am doing it.
Why does it require any other XYZ?
From my end, I am doing it. But I said I require more people like me who can fight for this.
No, the whole Goan community.
The system is not functioning.
The whole Goan community, Michael, will support you the moment you as a political leader or as the political class are seen to be wanting to enforce those rules and regulations. Of course, it was terrible in the erstwhile regime, but even now one sees that politicians still interfere with the cops and tell, "Hey, this is my boy, release him." You'll use some other
there are two aspects. One is putting system in place, that Oscar is saying. The second aspect is that ordinary Goan on the street. As you said, if that woman was pushed, nobody would have made headlines out of it. What is the question in that ordinary Goan's mind is that what should I do? Now, Oscar had courage to do that. That ordinary person might not have courage to do that.
Correct.
What should that person do when he is encountering such kind of change, such kind of all volatility in the society?
See, the thing is, the ordinary Goan has very few choices, but the choice is a very long-term choice. These kind of changes cannot happen overnight. Yeah. But the point is, if you realize that whenever people in Goa have got together to fight for a cause or fight for a movement, they've got enough traction to do it. Okay. The idea here is that, and if you also realize that the political change that took place in the last assembly election was also a result of a mass upsurge.
Yes.
And that was not a mean movement. I see it as a huge social movement rather than a political movement. The issue is, so all this gives us hope. The thing is, I'm somebody who is critical, but I'm never cynical. I really think that the thing is that people of Goa have enormous potential, and they managed to shake the fundamentals of established political arrogance in the last
the second point
So
is
if you
system.
look at the
but
whole
at the same
thing-
time we must the issue is that but the only thing that we need to do is that this government or this political change happened because of a whole people's movement, and it happened because a lot of people oriented promises were also given. It is now extremely important that the people of Goa ensure that people centric changes for which they voted for are ultimately taken to its logical.
No, but जेन्ना मी सिस्टमीचे गजाल उलयता,
लॉ अँड ऑर्डर सिच्युएशन जे आधी असले ते आता इम्प्रूव्ह झाला विथ ऑनरेबल चीफ मिनिस्टर मनोहर पर्रीकर बिंग द होम मिनिस्टर.